what was best for me was to not wait. And I know that sounds crazy. What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Amaya J, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything acting, everything industry, and everything LA. And today, this is like a little personal video. If you guys remember, probably like a year ago, I made a video that was titled 24-Year-Old Virgin. Okay. This video is about how I was waiting until marriage, until I was no longer waiting until marriage, and all the effects that came with that, and kind of like what happened in my life in the past year. So, let's just get into it because this is real.
I can't stand to see you cry. It's just another lie in your book. You know I want you by my side
I want to start this video by saying that this is a personal journey that I'm choosing to share because I was so open and honest with you all about the fact that I was 24 years old and waiting until marriage and holding on to my virginity and X, Y, and Z, that I said, now that I'm on the other side of it, I really have to share what comes with it. Because let me just say this, I'm not married. I was in a serious relationship. Okay. I'll say this. I became self-righteous in the fact that I was a virgin waiting until marriage. And because I became self-righteous, that came with a lot of loneliness. And because it came with a lot of loneliness, I was willing to trade off waiting until marriage so that I wouldn't be lonely, if that makes sense. And I'm saying all this because I know that somebody is watching me who's either still like a virgin and wanting to know why they should still wait. I know there are some people out here who are wanting to give up on waiting. I just want to encourage somebody to continue to wait. And if you don't continue to wait, do what's best for you, because I'll tell you this, what was best for me was to not wait. And I know that sounds crazy. But the lessons that God has taught me on the other side of it, it was things that I was taking for granted when I was waiting. It's things that I'm like, I'm listening now, God, because I've been through so much on the other side of it. So we're just going to get, I think the way that I kind of want to go about talking about this and making this video is the things that I learned on both sides. Okay. Before I, wasn't waiting, like before when I was waiting, okay, when I was 24 years old and I was waiting, there's a few things about myself that I now look back and I know, okay. I know that I became self-righteous in the fact that I was waiting until marriage. I know that I looked down on other people who weren't waiting until marriage, and I felt like I was better, I was superior, and I was doing everything right. Okay. So because of that, it led to the second thing. In the Bible, it says pride goes before the fall. Okay. So with all of that came a lot of loneliness. A lot of loneliness came from me like waiting until marriage, and I'm seeing all my friends get married. I'm seeing all my friends have boyfriends and going out on dates and X, Y, and Z, da 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 da. And I live in a big city, and that wasn't like happening, for me. And then I realized that I felt like I was holding on to my virginity as a bargaining chip for God to send me a husband. People don't talk about this, right? But you feel like if you do all things right, if I do everything right, like if I don't drink, I don't cuss, I don't smoke, I don't have sex, I don't do nothing, God owes me something. And for a lot of women who grew up in church, we believe a lot, subconsciously or not, that God owes us a husband because we ain't doing nothing like that. Okay. Those are some of the things that I learned before I, ended up becoming sexually active. After being sexually active, I was in a relationship that with a serious person. I like loved them, and I was my first love, everything like that, adored them, all those things. Okay. I learned that my value is not in my virginity. Okay. People love to tell you before you lose it, like, oh, once you lose it, you can't get it back. And that's something that makes you special. And da, 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 da. This is something that I was told like forever, like, oh, that makes you special. And you're the top of the top, the cream of the crop. And da, 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 da. I learned afterwards that my value is not in my virginity. The value is within myself, like the type of woman that I am, the virtues that God gave me. Okay. Number two, I learned that just because you are lonely, you cannot compromise your standards. Just because you are lonely, you do not compromise your standards. There's a lot, like, people show you pictures, right? People can show you and post so many pictures of their relationship and make you think that everything is all perfect and they just love each other, X, Y, and Z, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. And it don't really be that behind the scenes, okay? I now know that it's so much that people like accept in relationships not to be lonely. And I know that because there's so much that I accepted because I was lonely. Don't get me wrong. Loved him. Loved all the good times, loved everything about loved everything about him, but there was things that happened and things like that that is just like in my back of my mind. I'm like, why did I accept that? And again, my first relationship, my first love, you don't know what you don't know. So this was also a learning experience for me. It also taught me, number three, is that you cannot bargain with God. That is something that I struggled with so bad, and something that God has taught me through like not having, like not being a virgin, not waiting anymore, is that you can't bargain with God. Just because you a virgin and you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't cuss, you don't go out to clubs, you don't do this, you don't do X, Y, and Z, da da da, doesn't mean that God owes you nothing. I promise y'all, I used to look up at the sky every day when I was waiting and be like, baby, where the hell is my husband? What is taking him so long to find me? Oh, baby. Listen. And God has shown me that you were supposed to be living like that anyway. Like, whether I brought you a man or not, you were supposed to be living holy anyway. And that is something that, again, like I had to deal with, and I literally just learned. Just learned. Um, I'll say this. I'm not gonna get up here and lie to y'all and make y'all feel bad, because people want to do, like, they want you to do that. They want you to be like, oh, if you didn't wait until marriage, you a sinner, you this, da, 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 da. In a strange way, I feel like God taught me more on this side than before, because there were things that I wasn't hearing. I was not hearing a lot of things before, like everything that happened. People would say, oh, God loves you, just wait on God. There's a man that'll this, there's a man that'll that. And in my head, I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you don't know what it's like to be lonely. You don't know what it's like to like want to be with somebody. You don't know what it's like. Da, 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 da. And now I'm like, I'm content. In a strange way, I am content. I feel better now being like, I can wait on God than before, because the things that I've experienced and been through, I feel like I know myself better now than I did before. I know that, and I'm not getting on here to be like, oh yeah, go out here and do it. I'm not saying that, because the heartbreak that I felt and feel, I have days where I'm like, I'm cool, X, Y, and Z. And then I have days where I'm heartbroken because the relationship did not pan out the way that I wanted it to pan out. In a perfect world, like, I would have gotten married to this person. But like, it didn't pan out that way, you know? And I have days where I'm heartbroken over that. Like, I'm heartbroken over that, because I felt like virginity is special, okay? I felt like, oh my God, I gave this my first time and my all and X, Y, and Z. And like, it was all for nothing. Like, it was all for nothing, X, Y, and Z. Like, oh my God, it's thrown away. And don't get me wrong, that could happen. Like, even if like you get married and you gave them your first and everything like that, and it doesn't work out. Like, heartbreak is heartbreak. But what I'm saying is, my testimony is not a sad one where I'm like, oh, I'm just devastated and I wish I would have waited. Like, no, I believe that God, nothing catches God by surprise. Nothing catches God by surprise. And I believe that it was meant for me to go down this road because I learned way more, like, and appreciate God more in a way than I did before. And I know that people are probably like, oh, so like, what does this mean about your dating life? Da, 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 da. I'm going to go about my dating life the way that God tells me to go about my dating life. I learned that you got to keep God in everything, because when I was lonely and I was lonely, I was like, I'm not saying no prayers about God removing nobody, because I don't want nobody. It had gotten to a point, right, before all this happened, and I was just waiting, you guys, and I was trying to date X, Y, and Z. I would always say this prayer, and like, God remove them. I'd be like, well, I ain't gonna say the prayer this time because I need somebody to stick around. Like, I'm lonely, and now that I've experienced that, and now I'm on the other side, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Like I said, the pain of like everything that I have like been through, it hurts. It hurts. It, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It hurts. It hurts. But I'm also aware that God had to teach me something through that. So yeah, this is just a little video to give y'all a little backstory. Do what God calls you to do. I'm not here to tell nobody, continue to wait. I'm not here to tell nobody to go out here and do it. This is just my story, and you learn what you learn from my story. So that's it. That's all I have to say.
I can't stay.